So, welcome to this special report on the recent Petya ransomware attack. This was the attack that swept through Europe and well over 65 countries. We're going to go through some of the key facts that make this quite a remarkable ransomware offensive, and also the countermeasures that literally every organization out there needs to start to think about. The rules have really changed, and this is, I think, a step change in the type of attacks that come under the classification ransomware. And in fact, there's an argument to say that this isn't ransomware, and I'll go through where that argument is coming from. So if we look at what's been going on, this is the type of message that people will have seen. And ostensibly, there was a demand for bitcoins, about $300, in order to release their data. Okay, let's take a look at the key facts. First of all, this ransomware spread out globally, affecting 66 countries. Nothing unusual about that. But they did target major organizations, people like WPA, the UK advertising agency, and Chernobyl, the nuclear power station. But Ukraine suffered the bulk of attacks, well over 60%. There were also reports that inoculation is actually quite simple. So researchers found that they could create a read-only file. You call that file PERFC or PERFC, made it read-only, placed it in the computer's C drive, and the attack could be stopped in its tracks. Now, one thing about that, it will create immunity, but the computer is still a carrier. It can still spread the virus across a network. So that isn't a perfect way of stopping it. Now, the way that the virus was spread was via a piece of accounting software which was called MEDOX, and they used an update. Now, this is unusual because it's the first time that we've seen a significant piece of ransomware use an update process. And of course, software updates are something that are quite crucial in keeping computers safe. So it was spread by a means of corrupting software from an accounting company in Eastern Europe called MEDOX, and this was then linked to a piece of ransomware demand with an email address and Bitcoin account. Not a lot of transactions actually happened there. About $8,000 was posted there, and then the hosting company actually shut that email address down. So it makes it impossible for anybody who's paid money to actually get rescued. But whether or not they could actually be rescued is now being questioned by some of the top researchers in virus and ransomware. So the really worrying key fact is that yesterday experts from Kaspersky and Cummey were saying that this is not ransomware, this is actually a cyber weapon. So this ties back to the fact that Ukraine was heavily targeted. The reason for that is that they actually believe it's a one-way corruption and that there are bugs and certain tweaks in this software that make it impossible to recover the master file tables. Those are the tables that help rescue and point back to data that's been locked away. So what this amounts to is this could well be cyber warfare. And another intelligence expert, Petya, in a report published yesterday, said the following: the real Petya was a criminal enterprise for making money. This not Petya is definitely not designed to make money. And the Grug said this is designed to spread fast and cause damage with a plausibly deniable cover of ransomware. So could the Russians be wanting to take out the Ukrainian economy? Now, regardless of this ransomware, or if we could call it a cyber weapon, is out there, and there are going to be variants. So you need to start thinking about countermeasures, and some of the advice that's out at the moment is going to have to alter. So here's our 10 tips. First off, as always, use robust heuristic antivirus programs. Heuristic programs are adaptable, they learn, they look for patterns. Even when a brand new variant comes out, they should be able to spot the type of attacks that are most common in ransomware. And always go with globally respected and recognized vendors in terms of the packages that you may use for your organization. The next thing is use dual backup. So for even a small organization, you can buy a backup for your computer systems, and you need to start to think about buying backup for each and every computer, because the way that these ransomware attacks happen is they spread once they're on one computer across platforms and across all the computers on your network. So as they found with the NHS attacks, individual computers often holding very important data were taken out and had individual ransoms. So the way to protect those is to buy a £60 backup drive and instruct every user to back their systems up daily and take that backup offline, and that will work. The second form of backup that you can do would be to the cloud. So use something like a cloud backup service like OneDrive or Dropbox to back up your most crucial business files. And you're also in a way protected if you're using cloud services for things like accounting software. And you could have a third line backup. You never have enough backups in terms of having a central server backup as well. But if you do all of those, then there's no need to worry about having to pay ransomware. Thirdly, trust no one. Even if you've got a friend out there that you play computer games with or exchange Facebook files, they can often be tricked into passing on malicious code. So when it comes to looking at what's being sent to you, even if it's from a friend, have your guard up and look at exactly what is being sent and whether or not the friend's details in fact are being impersonated, which is another common trick. Automatic updates from vendors that you trust is very important. Now this is where this NotPetya ransomware has started to worry major vendors like Microsoft. They're saying they're very, very concerned that this is a new attack vector. An attack vector is basically a way that people that want to insert malicious code find a back door into your system. And what they did, as we said earlier on, is corrupt an update. So what I would suggest you do is think about only using the automatic updates from the most trusted organizations like Microsoft. Secondly, for the ones that you're not so sure about, smaller software companies, switch to manual updates for those types of vendors and maybe wait 24 hours just to see if anything untoward happens with that most important package. That would have protected a lot of people that were using MeDocs, for example. So start to think about practical measures. Always do your updates, but also make sure that you're not receiving updates from, say, an email that is sent impersonating one of your most trusted companies. And as I say, most company platforms you take, for example, graphic driver suppliers will have an automatic update program as part of their normal service. If you're unlucky enough to see something untoward happen, you see a rogue process or you start to see strange messages appearing on your computer, immediately disconnect your computer from the network, switch it off and get some technical support from a trusted source. Also, use different admin passwords across all the different computers on your network, because another trick that these ransomware attacks use is to impersonate the admin in an organization. So often those admin passwords are replicated across companies' networks. So set up different admin passwords for all the separate departments and computers that are on your network. Then also enable a little feature if you're a Windows computer to show file extensions, and this option will help you spot strange untoward files that are pretending to be Word documents or video files or picture files. And then also join this website. It's called www.noransomware.org. Let me just take you to the website and show you what we have there. So this is the website, No More Ransom, and it was set up in 2016 by a group of organizations including Europol, the International Police Organization, Amazon, Kaspersky, Intel, and it provides ways to protect you in terms of advice, and also decryption tools. They've published well over 2,000 decryption tools, which if you get attacked and can identify what type of attack you've suffered, you will be able to unlock your computer for free. There's also this feature of reporting a crime. Now, amazingly, a very large percentage of ransomware attacks are not reported, and it really does help the police and agencies fight back if you can help report any type of incident that's ransomware related. And they've covered all of the locations, the key locations, Europe and the USA, with the process and links so that you can make sure that the attacks are tracked. And finally, everybody in your organization who uses computers needs to see this video and follow this advice. This isn't just information for the computer department. You need to get everybody who's a computer user on the same page, aware of all the different ways that these threats work, backing up their computers, working with the right type of reaction, so if they do see or spot anything untoward, they disconnect their computers, and then you'll be in a much better place. So that's it for now with this first of our special alerts and reports, and remember, stay subscribed to Security Expert Online, and together online we'll make the world a safer place. Bye for now.